Hello. Hello, hello, Nancy. Hi, I hope you're feeling good and you can see well. Um, Eleanor and Stan, good morning. Oh, I'm sure it is beautiful in Mariposa. Wow, I bet you there's a lot of spring in the air that you're seeing, Eleanor. And I think about you every day when I'm in my garden looking at my bearded irises. It's so amazing. Oh, let me turn off my heater. I know that might sound crazy, but I do have a heater in this room, and it's kind of loud. So let me turn that off. And yes, take my socks off. All right. So when I have bearded irises, I planted 5 years ago. And right now with spring, it's amazing. It's almost like, I wish I knew what it was. What is it in the air or the earth that stimulates and triggers growth in plants? Because, and I'm sure that the science is out there in the botany world, but it's just amazing because all my bearded irises are just like, it's almost like someone said, and they're off, and there they go. And it's crazy, all of them, the power that is in them to grow. So it's just so amazing. Anyway, good morning, Carolyn and Leslie. Good morning from San Francisco. Wow, that's great. So Eleanor and Stan are in Mariposa. Leslie's in San Francisco. Michael, hello. Nice to see you. Stevie, good morning. And Lynn, good morning. So this is amazing that we're able to actually practice from wherever it is we are. All right. So if you guys would like to share anything that's going on in particular, go ahead and chat with me. Let me know. And otherwise, I do have a plan. So I'll wait to see if anybody has anything to say. Sue, good morning. Okay, and that's from the Yukon, right? It's Canada. So wow, all over the place, which is great, right? Really, really amazing. All right, so if there, I'm gonna go back to my spot. Back to my spot. All right. So for today's practice, this being yoga for wellness, I would like to prevent us from turning into raisins. So if you visualize a grape is plump, juicy, and at its prime. When it gets dehydrated, it starts to shrivel. And think about the color. You go from this green grape, and I guess the green grapes turn into the golden raisins, right? And then the dark grapes turn into the darker raisins. The process of what takes a grape to a raisin, the two main processes that are happening, which is part of aging of that. This is what aging is: dehydration and oxidation, losing oxygen, losing moisture. So the way that we can prevent some of those aspects coming into our inside body, of course, we would eat foods that are wet, drink more liquids, and then there's the lifestyle part of keeping ourselves like a plump, juicy raisin. And that's what we're going to do. So when we move the body, we actually create secretion of fluids. When we calm the mind, we actually stop the metabolic processes that are drying and oxidative. You've heard of oxidative stress. So that whole need for energy when we're under stress, when we have lots of thoughts, fear of what's going to happen, this, that, the other, you may think you're just sitting there and you're worrying in your head and that not a lot's going on. If we could look inside, there's a lot of metabolic processes, a lot of breaking down that happens during the stress response. And in order for your body to get the fuel it needs to run away, which is what the body's preparing for, that's a breaking down process. And that causes oxidation and oxidative stress. So let's take our knowledge of lots of things we do can take us from a grape to a raisin. And there's a lot of things we can do to raise awareness to slow down, stop, or manage that process of grape to raisin. And for me, it's really helpful for me to think of that because, first of all, I have control over this. and oh my gosh, this is happening. And it's not like grape to raisin is all of a sudden there it is. It's a process. And we're in that process every day with our lifestyle and our behaviors. So we are going to have juicy grape behaviors today in our practice, in our mind, in our body, the way we move, the way we think. Okay, so here we go, juicy grape yoga practice. So let's come into a position, a setting up the intention, a let's arrive to this place type of motion. This is you carving out me time, self-care time, juicy grape time. So bring yourself into whatever position is good for you. If you can still bend your knees like I am, keep trying this, keep maintaining this in your body if you have that ability. If you don't have that ability, next step would be to come into this position or this position. So keeping the kneecaps pointing away from you is going to be opening your hip joint, bending the knees and bending the hips so that you keep your knee joint and hip joint like juicy grapes instead of raisins. So whatever it is you could do, not forcing anything, total act of self-care, and not trying to come in like a bulldozer and do anything to your body that right now it's not ready to do. So come into a seated position, close your eyes, allow everything that is around you to first be in your field of awareness. This is this intention, you're actually getting on the path. Think about entering into this time of this exact moment, because that's the beginning to stop that breakdown of stress from the mind to the body, bringing yourself to this moment right here. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow hasn't happened. The only thing that's real is right now, right here. And I want you to feel right now. I want you to feel what right now feels like. Feel right now in your tushy. Feel right now in your legs. And feel right now in your core. So from where the legs attach to the low ribs, feel right now in your body. Feel your heart. Feel your arms attached to your body at the shoulders. What do your shoulders feel like? What do your arms feel like? Bring your awareness to your head. Where is it? Is it leaning forward? And if you feel that with your eyes closed, can you push your head back to arrange it back up? Almost like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. If we could take our finger and just push the top of that building back so that it's in an alignment position. Feel that you're doing that right now. You're finding that in your body, pushing your head back on top with the eyes closed. This is something you should do as often as you can throughout your day. Do it when you're walking, when you're cooking, when you're sitting. Put your head back up on top of your body. Because the head forward causes a lot of raisin activity in the body. And again, go up and down your body with awareness, feeling, noticing. And then go ahead and open your eyes. Let's come down onto our back. When we come down onto our spine, we actually start to bathe the spine. So right now in this position, there's force, gravity from above, pushing into your discs between your vertebrae, so squishing the fluids out of the spine with compression. So we're going to go down on the floor and allow all those fluids to come back in and hydrate your spine. So it's up to you. For the practice today, we will need a block and a strap and a blanket at a minimum, or things that represent or look close to those items. So I would like us to begin, if you would like to have your head on the blanket and your back on the floor. So if you're having any discomfort in your body, or if you do have an acute injury, meaning you pulled something in your back or you pulled something in your shoulders that, is something just happened, You being on the ground with the head elevated may be the best. For those of us that are not in that situation right now, I'd like you to take whatever blanket is you have and roll the blanket up. So the tighter you roll your blanket, the more intense the opening will be in the spine and the arms and the shoulders and the chest. So roll the blanket up according to what's appropriate for you. Many of you will also prefer another blanket or pillow or something up at the head to support the head. And then maybe some of you will not. This is going to support our spine. The tushy is going to go on the floor. So make sure your tushy's on the floor. Bring your tushy so that your low back touches your prop, whatever it is you're doing. So I said to roll it up. Another option to be not quite as high is to fold it. So it's a flatter, maybe a little wider and flatter surface to place your spine down on. And then let's come to sit right now like this. Let your tushy be on the floor. I want you to wiggle back and forth, and I want you to feel right now in your tushy and in your pelvis. So bring yourself back and forth, side to side. And then take the legs a little wide. Let's just do a little side to side with the knees. So we soften up the hips and we soften up the pelvis so that there isn't any extra pulling on this area when we start to stretch the spine. Try to keep the tushy on the floor when you do this, and try not to make it be that you're going so far to the side. Let these kneecaps make a line from one to the other. Let it just be about your kneecaps going, because that is your hip doing the action. And this is starting to coax some fluid into that hip joint, starting to bring fluid to the surrounding tissue, the fascia, the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles. Doesn't have to be big and crazy. It's like turning on the hose a little bit versus turning on the hose a lot of it. You still have the hose on, right? There's water coming out of it. So you don't have to be really crazy here. Let's lift the toes off the floor. Get your knees to go side to side. I like to say that any movement is good. Any movement is good movement. And I think that once we start to have issues in our body or injuries, and then even the whole process of aging and the fear of falling and hurting ourselves, we stop moving. And that's when the issues really happen. So this may seem simple and gentle, and it is, and it's effective. Turning on the hose. We're going to come down onto the prop. So for some of you, if you have osteoporosis, making sure to not put too much pressure on this front part of your spine, you could reach to the side and come down and go into your prop. For others, you could find your prop by coming through the flexion position to come down onto the blanket. And once you get there, find comfortable, yet this position may be challenging. So find what is the most doable and comfortable for you. And then if you find that you need something by your head, sometimes you could bend the blanket that's up at the top to give a little bit of support there. And always working to try to do as little as possible to support your head here, so that we also have this opportunity to let this position correct our posture by stretching some of those spinal muscles in the neck, in the thoracic spine, and then in the shoulder girdle. Keep your knees bent. That's what's important here. Keep your knees bent. Walk your feet a little bit wider than your body. Allow your knees to fall in towards each other so they're touching. And then allow the weight of your body to go. Let your body really release all of the holding of the muscles. Let's take a couple of breaths here through the nose, where each exhale, I want you to feel that you're releasing and letting go of muscles somewhere else in the body. So each exhale is a release. Bring your awareness to the left arm. Let the left arm be heavy. Let the hand be heavy, the wrist, the lower arm, the elbow. Allow that upper arm bone to gently yield and move away from that shoulder joint. Bringing your awareness over to the right hand. Let the right hand be heavy, the right wrist, the right lower arm, the right elbow. Allow everything to be nice and heavy. Bring your awareness to your head. Let your head be really heavy. Feel the center of your head. Bring your awareness to your torso. Let your torso be heavy. It's allowing this position, this posture you placed yourself in, to do its magic, to hydrate your spine, stretching muscles of the spine, and then grounding your mental energy. So stopping that stress response that breaks down your body. Maybe notice if you hear any digestive sounds, which is a good sign. When we're in a group class, that's one thing that comes up is whenever there's digestive sounds, there's a shyness that comes into the person whose belly is gurgling. And I'd like us to shift that thought thinking that we're not controlling that. And also when there are sounds, that's good. That's digestion taking place. We're trying to. And if you have digestive issues, you figure out where some of those blocks are. But right now, allowing the body to go into supporting that process of digestion. Now that we've been here for a few minutes, for those of you that would like to explore taking legs straight, it'd be better to go one at a time and noticing what parts of your body accept that movement in this new posture or say, no, I don't like this. And if you need to go back to bent knees, bend your knees. This is the most advanced aspect of a yoga practice, is being able to calm your mind, being able to just be, being able to let go and to release, to come to the present moment, and to be a juicy grape. Keeping the mouth closed, let the back teeth separate. Breathing in through the nose. Begin to follow the breath in the nostrils. I just learned this past week that nitric oxide, which is released during breathing through the nose, has a relaxation quality on the throat, the larynx, I guess, or the pharynx, and the esophagus, which is the airways to the lungs. So allow yourself to breathe in through your nose. Let nitric oxide be secreted and allow the relaxation quality for the breathing apparatus to come into your body. Feel the support of the spine. Feel the tushy on the floor. Thoughts can be like balloons. And if you were holding a whole bunch of balloons, our thoughts are like the balloon that gets away and starts to float away. So when you find yourself floating away from right now, which happens, ground your mental energy, bring your balloons back down by bringing your awareness to your body. So feel the tushy when the balloons start to float away, when the mind starts to float away. Because when you can hold on to your balloons, when you can keep yourself here, then you're allowing your body to shift to healing, repairing, restoring, and building instead of the opposite of all of those. So when we want to be well, we want to be here in this moment. Let's do a little counting, which can also help to ground the mental energy and keep your balloons in your hands. Keep your thoughts right here. I'll do a gentle count. This is called Sukha Pranayama, which is a breath of peace. 6 on the inhale and 6 on the exhale. And then I will let you count. And if the count of 6 is too much for you, maybe you could drop down to 5 on the inhale, 5 on the exhale, or 4 and 4. Counting your breath is a really great way to ground your mental energy to be in the present moment. Let's prepare by taking a big exhale. And then let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue counting whatever is appropriate for you. Feel the breath coming into the body when you count. Noticing if your mind is staying with counting or if your mind floats away. Let's add on to this to ground the mental energy even more. We're going to use our fingers We're going to use our hands. Keep your hands out to the side. Both of your thumbs, I want you to move your thumbs up and down. This will be the words inhale and exhale will be the thumbs. Then touch your thumb to your pointer finger. So the pad of your thumb touches the pad of your pointer finger. That'll be 1. Touch the middle finger, that'll be 2. Touch the ring finger with the thumb, that'll be 3. Thumb to pinky is 4. We're going to do a little counting going through 4, keeping our awareness on our breath, our counting, and our fingers.
Let's prepare. Let's take an exhale. Inhale, flick your thumbs. 1, touch your pointer finger. 2, touch your middle. 3, touch the ring. 4, touch the pinky. Exhale, flick your thumbs. 1, pointer finger. 2, middle finger. 3, ring finger. 4, pinky. Inhale, thumbs. 1, pointer finger. 2, middle finger. 3, ring finger. 4, pinky. Exhale, thumbs. 1, pointer finger. 2, middle. 3, ring. 4, pinky. Inhale, flick the thumbs. 1, pointer finger. 2, middle finger. 3, ring. 4, pinky. Exhale, thumbs. 1, pointer. 2, middle. 3, ring. 4, pinky. Continue on your own. Your awareness is at your hands as you move your thumbs when you're inhaling and exhaling, and then touching a finger, counting to 4. Don't worry if you get confused. Notice how you are in your mind, you're in your hands, you're with your breath. That's what matters. Wherever you are, finish this breath. Do 2 more complete rounds, counting, touching your fingertips, staying with your breath, staying with your body. Finishing your last breath, let it go, let your hands go. Give your breath back to your body, still breathing through the nose. Bring your awareness back to your body. Feel your legs. Feel the heaviness of the legs, heaviness of the tushy and the pelvis, heaviness of the torso, the spine, the rib cage, heaviness of the left arm, heaviness of the right arm, heaviness of the head. Feel the heaviness of your body as you let go of muscular tension and holding and contraction. And you let go of the thoughts that are usually not here in your body in this present moment. Allowing all the healing that takes place when we are in this space. Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes. Begin to wiggle. Begin to move your body in whatever feels appropriate. If you bring your arms overhead, reach your arms overhead. Feel what that feels like to your body. Don't underestimate how much doing nothing can be as healing as anything else, if not more so healing than anything else. If your legs are straight, take them straight in front of you. Take your arms overhead and really stretch yourself here. Let's all bend our knees. Feet are flat. Take the arms alongside your body with this elevation off the floor. Let's do a little bit of snow angels, letting the arm go up and down. The elbow comes closer to the waist. The hands move closer to up above. This is isolating the one part of the spine, which is the shoulder blades, the clavicle bones, and the arm bones. So moving that part of our spine independent of the rest of the spine. The head, spine, one part of our skeleton versus the other part of the skeleton. So one is the head, the spine, the rib cage, the pelvis, the legs, and the other is the arms. Trying to keep ourselves mobile, making sure our shoulders don't turn into raisins, but stay juicy and mobile. And this is good for posture and for mental emotional well-being, because posture can contribute to sadness, and sadness can contribute to poor posture. All right, let's roll on to the side. Let your spine relax in this position and check in with how you're feeling. Check in with, is there a calm sensation? Is there a sensation of relaxation in your body? For those of you that struggle with energy and lack of energy, when there's muscles in your body that are contracted, either to hold you up posturally or to support you because there's stress from your thoughts, the worry and all of that happens, that muscular tension being held uses internal energy. So when we are letting go and we're relaxed, we free up the body breaking down and taking our energy. So let's take the hand in front of you, really focus here on pushing away from the floor instead of pulling up from the floor, pushing away from the floor. Let's prepare ourselves for movement. We're going to begin today by really focusing on the core and doing a lot to strengthen our core, because that is the support of our body. And that's what supports and holds this heavy head of ours on top of our spine. So I'd like to say that if I do something that has 5 count, 8 count, or 10 count, if you can do that, great. And if you can only do 1 count, that's great too. So do whatever you can. Let's come into this position here, a little bit of weighted hip stretching before we do the core, because when we start to do the core, this part of our body can either come to the rescue or show up when there's a lot of tension. If you have a block, take your block on that front side of where the front leg is, so that you could be pushing yourself and be growing out of your pelvis. Notice if you were moving to the side, which happens a lot, really try to push out of the pelvis. Bring your awareness to this leg here. Try to get this leg to come right off of your body. And try to see if you can push the knees towards the floor. And then this hip here, really get this hip to bend. So maybe bringing your hands here and coaxing a little bit of, if you massage here, you're going to bring some fluids to this area, and you're going to give awareness to the tension in the muscle that's trying to flex the hip joint in this position here, getting your spine to really come off of your torso here. And then this leg that's back, the foot that's back, bring that hand forward. Push down on your block. Push your legs into the floor and try to grow out of your pelvis. We are placing our legs and our hip joints in different positions here. So this can actually be nice to bring some alignment, posturally correcting the spine. Push your legs into the floor, really get nice and tall here. This may be referred to as a mermaid position. And I have had some people make comments to me about this position. They feel a lot of tension. I personally feel my spine, my joints moving and trying to find their position. So I feel my lower lumbar spine. I hear sounds as my pelvis tries to recalibrate and readjust. So this will move the pelvis, or reposition the pelvis, and then also the spine. Take one more breath here. I'd like you to bring your awareness to where you may be feeling tension. So the inner thigh on that leg that's back, the inner thigh, because this is getting that adductor muscle group here. You may feel some tension where that hip is flexing. So a lot's going on in that hip joint. And then you may feel some stuff up your spine. All right, let's come to the other side. So to find this position, you're going to bring one leg in front, and then the other leg goes to the back. So the one foot's in the back. It's like a pinwheel. So kind of a, yeah. Let's take your hand on the block. So the leg that's front, put your hand on the block, because this can happen. It's really challenging for the flexion to come in to the leg on the side here, right? That's a harder position and not necessarily a natural movement that we do. So I personally think that this is very important for bone health, because if you trip, slip, or fall, you want a lot of juicy grape action to be happening in this hip joint. You want there to be a lot of
fluidity in your hip. You want it to be moist and lubricated and mobile so that if you slip or trip, you're not pulling on really tight, dehydrated tissue. And so this is gonna put some stretch into that part of your body. Let's take the knee into the floor, the other knee into the floor, and then bring that arm in front, pushing down into your block so that you get nice and tall in your spine here. Bring your awareness to where the tension is. And can you let your exhale release that tension? Take one more breath. Bringing your hand down, maybe a little more massage there if you need that. Even taking the heel of your hand and going down the side of your knee. This is where the iliotibial band is, starting here as a muscle, turning into a very strong band of tissue that attaches to the outside of the knee. So this can be tight if there's some knee issues, some hip issues. We want to make sure that we maintain the mobility in our body, in our joints, and we start to notice where potential issues are when they start, so that we don't get to a crazy place. Let's come onto our tushy to warm up those hips a little bit more. We did a smaller version of this. I'd like this to be a much bigger movement here. So now maybe the knee is trying to move towards the floor. For some, it may be touching. For others, it may not. And the hands are on the floor. The wrists are bent, which is good. You're loading up your wrists. For those of you that do not like to load up your wrists, can you take your arms farther back and have some load in your wrists? So this might be a good place for those of you that are really have precarious wrists. Feel yourself rocking onto the inner edge of the foot. So the knee that comes into the center, you're on the big toe edge, and then you're on the pinky toe edge of the other foot. And then let's go to the other side. So you come into the big toe edge of one foot and the pinky toe edge of the other. It's a good movement pattern to keep the hips lubricated and like juicy grapes. Okay, let's come onto our back. So that's a windshield wiper action. We've done that twice so far today. I love that because this is a ball. The top of this hip bone is a ball, and so it really gets a lot of articulation of that joint, which is going to help to stretch a lot of the muscles and tissues that mobilize that hip joint. So important to keep that mobility there. Coming down onto the floor, you can come to the side, especially if you have osteoporosis, or come down through your flexion position, rolling down. Bring yourself so that your head is supported on the blanket, your back is supported on the floor, and then push your arms into the floor so that, and your head into the floor, head and arms, so you can lift your rib cage away from the floor and slide the shoulder blades towards the spine. So this is some ways to keep with postural correction. And why not? While we're here, let's try to do everything we can. So keeping those shoulder blades on the floor, the pelvis is going to stay on the floor for now, and the rib cage. Take your arms out to the side. So let your elbows touch the floor, the upper arm bones, and start to open up your arms to see if your hands can touch the floor. For some of you, you may need to unbend the elbows a little bit to get the hands to touch the floor. For some of you, you could bend the arms a little bit more. So whatever, it's all depends on whatever you've got going on in your body. Take your feet a little wide and keep the pelvis on the floor as you start to do more of that windshield wiper action, now in a different position. So another area of the hip starting to come a little higher in the pelvis and getting the hip flexor muscles. You may start to feel some of the core muscles, the obliques. So this is a little bit warming up hip and now warming up the core. And then bring yourself back to center, come all the way wide. The soles of the feet are on the floor, the heels are on the floor, toes are off. Let's go bigger here. So this is definitely one of my favorite ways to warm up my body and my favorite ways to keep that motion in my body every day. Finding internal and external hip rotation. Close your eyes, see what you feel in your body here.
And I want you to feel as much as you can, and I want you to feel as much as you should. So when you do this, try to let the knee that's coming towards the middle come closer to the floor if that's appropriate for your body. And at the same time, when it comes in towards the floor, push it away from you. So it comes in and away so that there's a lengthening of that upper leg bone, a lengthening in that hip joint, and a lengthening of all the muscles that mobilize and support that hip. The next time that your legs come over to the left, stay there. And try to find as much stretch as you can here by pushing the big toe edge of the right foot into the floor and pushing that right kneecap away from you. And then take the right hand, flex the wrist, reach the right hand away from you, and stretch the right side. Breathe down to where you feel tension. Really stretch your body, because when we stretch the tissue, we actually release fluids. So when we're focusing on hydrating our body, getting ourselves to be juicy grapes in all parts of our body, this is part of it, is that stretch. And you're stretching your hip joint here and your shoulder joint and the ribs. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. So we talked about from a grape to a raisin. Let's go the other side. Coming from a grape to a raisin is part of that is stretching, because stretching will do the hydration part. And then the mindset with all the breath work is going to slow down that oxidative stress aspect, that breakdown that takes place. So with this other knee in, now the left knee is in, your legs are to the right. Push the left big toe edge into the floor. Push the left knee away from you to lengthen that left hip. And then pick that left hand off the floor, flex the wrist, create a nice stretch along the left side body. We're preparing the body here. We're going to work the torso. So we're preparing the body here, stretching the body, stretching the muscles. We're then going to activate and strengthen. And loosening the connecting parts to the core, to the midsection, so that we can really get in there and focus on this core without negatively affecting anything else. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Perfect. So let's do a little to wring out the body, like wringing out a rag to get all the water out. We're going to do a little twist. So you may need to have your block handy here for this. So that was twisting. Keep your knees together. Let your knees stay together. Let your feet stay together. We're going to start going side to side. Now, for those of you with low back issues, when we start to do this rotation, we are going into the low back. We're getting muscles that move the body, that twist the torso in a different direction. So I want you to be in your low back right now. I want the awareness to be soft. Use exhales to soften and to release. Only go as far as your body says is okay to go. Knees are together. Let's take the right leg over the left leg. Right leg is over left, arms are to the side. Try to really lock down that torso, that rib cage area. Now you're going to on the inhale, let your legs go to the left. So the right leg is on top. Inhale, legs go over to the left. Feel that stretch coming into the right side body. Exhale, back up to center. Inhale, let the legs go to the left. Let the head go to the right. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Come back to center. Now bring the right lower leg bone on top of the left leg. So you're in a figure 4. So there's a space now here. Before the legs were totally touching, now there's a space. Flex the right foot. Inhale, let the legs go over to the left. Exhale back to center. Really push that right knee away from you with the muscles of your body. Flex that right foot. Inhale. Let the legs go towards the left. Feel that stretch on your right side. Exhale back to center. And then one more. Push the right knee away from you. Inhale. Let the legs go to the left. Stay here. Breathe down to your belly. And then slowly bring yourself back up to center. Let's switch legs. You're going to take the left leg on top of the right leg. There is no space between the legs. You're crisscrossing your legs. Your left leg is touching the right and there's no space. Take an exhale. Inhale, let the legs go to the right. Feel that stretch in your body, what feels appropriate. Exhale, push your belly to your spine, come back to center. Inhale to the right, let your head go to the left. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the right with the legs, let the head go to the left. Back to center. One more. Inhale, let your legs go to the right. Head go to the left, stay here. And then on your next exhale, push your belly button to your spine, bring yourself back up to center. Take the left lower leg bone on top of the right thigh. Let the left knee open to the side, and now there's a space. There's a space in between your legs. Arms are to the side. Inhale, let the legs go to the right. Push the left leg away from you with the muscles of the legs. Exhale back to center. Inhale. You could let the head go to the left if you'd like. The legs are going to the right. One more. Stay here. Take one more breath. And then exhale, bring yourself back up to center. So when we do rotation in the body, let's bring the knees into the chest. When you do rotation like that, it pulls on low back muscles, and it can be, you have to be in your body when you do this, and you have to find what the safe range of motion is for you. All right, now we're gonna go a little bit bigger with our twist. So push your feet onto the floor, pick your tushy up, place your tushy over to the left. So pick your tushy off the floor, and your ribs are still on the floor, the rib cage still on the floor. You're gonna push your whole pelvis over to the left. Arms are on the side. Bring your knees into your chest and let both knees go over to the right. For some of you, you may need to have a block between your legs. Sometimes putting it lower near the ankle joint is supportive. Sometimes putting it up by the knees is supportive. And some of you may need it under the knees. So whatever it is you need, go ahead, put the block there. And then if you'd like to go a little deeper, for some of you, you could hold on to the top left leg, right? Because we're to the right. And then try to get the left shoulder blade to touch the floor or towards touching the floor. And then bring your awareness to your left waist, create space. So with your muscles, you're going to push that top left leg away from you a little bit, creating a little more space in that left waist. If you'd like to rotate your head to the left, and then deep breaths here. Take one more breath. Coming out of twist is important to be safe. So let's bring the top leg up, which is the left, bring it closer to your chest, and then bring the left leg up. You start to roll towards your back, and then let your right leg come up. Push your feet into the floor, push your pelvis lifted up, push the pelvis all the way over to the right, rib cage stays on the floor, and then draw the left knee in, the right knee in. Roll to the left. Go slow. Try to keep that right shoulder blade on the floor if you can. And that's where that support may need to come in with the blocks. So allow yourself to arrive here. Let everything go. And then notice, is this side tighter or easier than the other side? If you'd like to hold on to your right leg, you could take your left hand on top of the right leg. That adds a little bit more rotational force. And then you want to create that space in your waist by pushing that upper right leg bone away from you. Feel that happening. Breathing down into the belly. Let the head go to the right if you'd like. Legs are to the left, head is to the right. Take one more breath. And then to come out, bring the right knee up. Start to roll onto your back, bring the left leg up. Push the feet into the floor, pick your pelvis up, put your pelvis back down onto the floor, and actually pick your pelvis up, posteriorly tilt the pelvis. So can you tilt the pelvis backwards so that the top edge of your pelvis touches the floor? And then bring the left knee in and the right knee in. Hold on to your knees. Inhale with your arms straight, and then exhale, draw the knees straight into the belly. Feel the top thighs pushing into belly. Inhale to straight. Exhale into belly. So a counter position for rotation is a back bend. So we're going to do a back bend here to reset our spine. And I'd like you to use your block for this. This can have a nice quality. When you use the block, this can have a nice quality on resetting that lower lumbar spine. And because we just did a lot of rotation there may have been something that went off for you. So take the blanket away from the back of the head, lift the head up, tuck the chin down towards the chest, place the center of the head onto the floor, and then walk the feet closer to the body. Squeezing the block, flatten the low back into the floor. So you're tilting that pelvis. Squeeze the tushy and squeeze the block, turning on the stabilizing aspects of your pelvis. Bend your elbows so your palms face each other, the thumbs are up towards the sky. Slide the shoulder blades closer towards the spine. So dig the elbows into the floor as you lift the upper part of your rib cage off the floor, sliding the elbows towards the center. Push your arms into the floor. Feel how that activates the back of the body. So I said we were going to focus on core support and trunk support. This is part of that. This is the back of the body, getting the strength in the back of the body, which supports the torso. So press the elbows into the floor, palms face each other, fingertips are up towards the sky. Squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, and let the low back touch the floor, and then begin to peel the spine off of the floor as you lift the pelvis up. Do not look side to side here. So listen for the guidance of this. Feel this in your body. Close your eyes. So your rib cage is lifting away from the floor. Your pelvis is away from the floor. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the tushy. And then lengthen the knees away from you. Squeeze the tushy. Press the arms into the floor. Lift your rib cage up away from the floor even more if you can. And try to push your heart towards your nose. Bring your awareness to the back of the body where the shoulder blades are. And then push the shoulder blades, especially the bottom tips that are right behind the heart. Push the shoulder blades into the rib cage towards the spine to push the heart up towards the nose. Squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then when you come down, close your eyes, squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy. Can you soften the upper body and start to push the spine towards the floor, one vertebra at a time? Keep squeezing the tushy, squeezing the block. When you start to get towards the lower ribs, lift the heels off the floor, lengthen your spine, posteriorly tilt the pelvis, place the vertebra on the floor one at a time until you come all the way down. Take the block out, bring the blanket back, and then draw the knees one at a time into your body. And then put one sole of the foot up towards the sky, spreading your legs, the other sole of the foot up towards the sky. Hold on behind your hamstrings and spread your legs as wide as it feels comfortable for you, drawing the knees towards the armpits. You'll probably feel some of those adductors, those inner thigh muscles stretch. And then hopefully you feel that the low back gets pressed into the floor. And this is adding flexion to that lower lumbar spine. It can be nice and relieving. There's a posterior pelvic tilt happening here, which is contributing to that flexion in the lower lumbar. Pressing the spine towards the floor can be really nice and relieving of tension. And again, stretching some of the musculature of that whole pelvic area, which can sometimes be causing tension in the low back. Try to get your soles to point up toward the sky. For some of you, you could reach up and take the pointer finger and the middle finger in between the big toe and the second toe. And then you could place your thumb on top of your big toenail and pull the legs down towards the floor so you're getting the knees to come closer to the armpits. Legs are spread. Little more stretch in the adductors or the inner thighs, and a little more compression of that lower lumbar into the floor. So wherever you are is perfect for you. It doesn't matter if I've done something different. If you're not able to do this, doesn't matter. Do what you are able to do. Take one more breath. And then let's go ahead, bring ourselves back to center. Noticing if you have any tension in the lower back, or noticing if that did actually relieve that tension. Because that rotation is definitely going to give you some freeing up of your body. And but it can be a little hard in the spine. And I'd like you to close your eyes and bring your awareness to your spine. I did mention that when you are lying down like this, your fluids are coming back to your spine. And right now, when I released my legs, I felt what felt like a cool sensation, or a like moisture in my spine. I mean, maybe, I don't know if I'm just thinking that because I wasn't trying to focus on it. I'm very body aware. The practice of yoga has really made me body aware. All right, grab your block. Let's draw the legs in one at a time, and let's take the block between the lower legs. So this is the way that the block is, this distance. This is about hip joint distance, so it's nice to put this on the lower legs. If you don't have a block, just imagine, put an imaginary block there. And then flex your feet. So this is pointed feet, and these are flexed. Point, flex. Let's flex our feet, and then bring your legs down so that they're parallel to the floor. Now, the closer the knees are to the body, the easier this is on the back and a little bit easier to do. The more the legs are right above your pelvis, a little more challenging. And then the lower legs straight off of the knees. So these angles are a little bit more challenging. Choose what's appropriate for you. Arms are down alongside the body. Squeeze the block so you feel your inner thighs turning on. Protect yourself. Contract your core, push your belly towards your spine. Let's inhale over to one side. Exhale, squeeze the block back to center. Inhale over to the other side, and then exhale back to center. Inhale, exhale. Really squeeze your block and make really active feet. So turn as muscles as you can. This is now strengthening those rotational muscles of the body and the adductors for pelvic support, supporting that torso. Inhale to the side, exhale back to center. Inhale. One more to each side. And then bring yourself back to center. Draw the knees into the chest. If you rocked away from your blanket, go ahead and reposition. Knees into the chest. Let's put the feet on the floor, taking the block again. Now we're going a little wider with the block. This is actually shoulder girdle distance. Okay, spread your legs. So your legs are pretty wide here. Take the block up overhead. Watch me for 1 second. As we, well, let me do a little bit of core. I want to explain the core a little more. Thinking about this whole part of your body below your ribs and where your legs attach to your body, this whole area. You could either visualize that the center is a big juicy orange inside your body, that you're going to squeeze everything to the center and try to squeeze your orange. So try that. Feel that inward, and that's one thing. That's one that may work for you. The other one is think about zippering up really tight jeans. So you'd have to hold on to the zipper, and then as you go up, it has to come towards center and then up, towards center and up. And you'd actually have to draw the belly back away from that zipper so you don't catch your skin. So thinking of tight jeans zippering up is a nice way to get that activation of the core. All right, so that's what we're going to do when we exhale. When we inhale, we could soften. So take the arms overhead. Let's begin. Exhale to prepare. Inhale to relax. As you exhale, zipper, 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 zipper up. Bring yourself up. Bring the block between your knees. Inhale to lower. Exhale. This time you're going to come to the outside of the right knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Squeeze the block. Zipper, zipper, zipper. Flatten the low back into the floor. Low ribs go towards the spine. Inhale to lower. Exhale, bring yourself outside of the left. Inhale to lower. Keep moving here, zippering up, flattening that low back as you come up. Go slow. Feel strong. Let's go all the way through. 1 to each side, starting with the middle. Last one. And then bring yourself all the way down. Let's bring the knees into the chest, a little relief there if you need. Let's take the block, put the block between the knees. Take your hands behind your head. Let your elbows go out to the side. Press your arms into the floor. Inhale. As you exhale, squeeze your block, zipper up your midsection, bring your upper body off the floor. Inhale to lower. Exhale, squeeze the block, low back. And then one more. Come up, stay there. Elbows are out to the side, flatten the low back, squeeze the block. Feel that strength in your body as you support the body away from the floor like this. And then you're going to bring yourself down. Let's take the left leg in the air, flex the foot. Take the right hand on top of the right thigh. Left hand is behind the head. Palm of the hand is supporting the head. Squeeze the block here. So we're getting a lot of strength in this upper leg, very important for healthy aging, keeping our body strong and supportive. And this part of your body is going to support that whole pelvic area and the low back and all the postural aspects as well. Right hand is on top of the right thigh. Squeeze the block. Inhale. As you exhale, zippering up the midsection, lift your body straight up. Start to slide the fingertips towards the right hand and then rotate over by directing the left elbow over towards the outside of the right knee. Slowly inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Inhale, last one. Exhale. So stay in wherever you can, whatever you can handle, trying to strengthen and add strength, going to your edge that's comfortable, pushing yourself to a comfortable place, trying to develop even more strength, and knowing when it's appropriate to stop. One more breath, and then go ahead and lower down. Let's take a break. Feel that on the opposite leg. Feel that in the waist. We were going to the right, so you might have felt a lot of heat in that right side body. Let's do that on the left side. So you're going to bring the leg up into the air, flexing the foot. Toes are pointing straight above you or behind you. Foot is flexed. Right hand is behind the head. Cradle the right hand, and then take the left hand on top of the left thigh. Squeezing the block so you feel that stabilization turning on, stabilizing muscles. Inhale. As you exhale, lift yourself straight up, flatten the low back, fingertips go up towards that left knee, and then guide the right elbow towards the outside of the left knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Keep that right leg squeezing that block, flexing that foot. Last one. Exhale to rise. Stay here. Little pulses. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. Block out to the side, knees into the chest. Go ahead and grab your strap. A lot was done for the hip today. I'd like to stretch the legs and also strengthen the side of that hip. So get a strap, bring your feet up, and don't lasso your feet. I want you to come as close to your feet as you can. We have been bending our hips a lot today, so hopefully you're able to get really close. And then wrap your hands around the strap. Let your feet be about, 12 inches apart, or so that you could put a block between them, almost like that block could go in between them. And then straight legs, a little bit harder for some of you. You may have bent knees, that's okay. Try to go towards straight. Definitely have your feet above your body. So don't be here because that's too much tension on the low back. If your legs are there, bend your knees a little bit more and bring them closer so that your pelvis is on the floor, and especially the top edge of your pelvis is on the floor. And if you can do straight legs, and then push really strongly into the strap, pulling down towards the floor. Push into the strap so the strap is on the soles, and you're really feeling the pinky toe edges of the feet pushing into the strap. And then let's see, can you draw the legs back, stretching those hamstrings, both of them at the same time. Push into the strap and draw those legs towards the back wall. Push into the strap. Make sure you're really pushing. The pinky toe edges are pushing away into the strap. So you feel something right here. Posterior hip capsule. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Keep the legs there. Take the strap off to the side. Let's take the hands down alongside the body. Point the feet and flex. Point and flex. Point, flex, point, flex. Slow articulation of the ankle joint. So look at your kneecaps. They shouldn't move at all. No moving of the kneecaps. They're staying where they are. And then let's go in the other direction. The only thing that's moving is your ankle joint. It's like you're making big circles on the ceiling. So we want to have, again, juicy grapes in our joints. The juicy grapes here are in the ankle joint, keeping that nice and mobile so that if you trip or slip or fall, Your grapes will move and bend as opposed to raisins, which would rip and tear. Legs in the air for a while. That's kind of a challenge there to hold those legs up. Go ahead, bring the knees into. It's time for Shavasana, to allow the integration of everything you just did to seep into your cells, into your soul. So find whatever is the appropriate position for you to come into your Shavasana position. You may want to find a chair or put legs up the wall or pillows underneath your body. Whatever is right for you, go ahead and find that. Let your body go. Check in with your body. See how it feels.
Govinde Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Kariyam Nimame Akame Govinde Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Kariyam Nimame Akame Govinde Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Kariyam Nirame 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 Akame carry on. You know I'm coming.
Bring your awareness to your breath and follow the breath in the body, bringing your awareness to your body. Notice how you're feeling. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. And then go ahead and bring your knees slowly into your chest, rocking side to side. So a lot of today's practice beginning on keeping the body hydrated, mobile, and keeping the mind grounded so that the body will not be breaking down and contributing to the raisin effect. And then we worked a lot on core stability and the aspects of the pelvis and the core and the trunk for stabilizing, strengthening those areas. Roll onto your right side, or any side actually, depending on which direction you are. Let's push yourself up. Keep your eyes closed if you can. Try to find the same position you began in today, if you can. And I'd like you to notice your body, how it feels in this position that you're in. Bring your awareness to your body, feeling your body right now, your legs right now, your pelvis right now, your torso right now. And bring your hands together right next to your chest. The thumbs rest on the sternum bone, and place the head back up on top of the spine like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, pushing the top of the Pisa, the tower, which is your head, back on top of your spine. Lengthen the neck as you slightly tuck the chin down towards the chest. Let's close the practice with the sound, like the letter M, creating this nice vibration in the head, neck area. Take a deep breath down to your belly. Bowing to each other in Namaste. So I hope that you learned a lot today about the fact that we could be like a juicy grape or a dried up raisin, that our thoughts are part of that process that happens inside, that body position and what we do for ourselves contributes every day to those aspects, and that it is possible to be in the moment, human being grapes. All right, I hope you feel good and keep practicing yoga. All parts, body and mind. You're welcome, Michael. Yes, good, Nancy. Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes I think, okay, for some of you, you have a lot of strength in your body and you may think that, does this seem too easy? And then I know for some of you, you have a lot of issues. So then there are challenges. I feel everything that I do in my body when I teach, and I have a strong limber, mobile body. I feel it all because whenever I do whatever I'm doing, it's to my maximum ability at that moment. And that's important to keep in your mind too. Hi, Kathy. Yes, nice having you here. You're welcome, Carolyn. Stevie. Great. Okay, good, Stevie. That was a good realization of you began in one position and then we end there. And so it's nice to make that relationship of, okay, so that was a lot of grape work today. Not great, grape, G-R-A-P-E, staying with my theme, juicy grapes. Yes, isn't that great, Sue? Plump grape is good though. Plump is plump. Even if it's, plump in, it's stored energy.
So right now your grape is full of stored energy, okay? So if it's plump, well, unless you're meaning just plump, like super hydrated and everything. So if it's plump as in stored energy, then burn through some of that today with some squats or walks or whatever. But then being juicy and plump is so important. Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I'll see you. I have for those of you that are into bone health, want to learn more about bone health, I have an online course starting next Monday. It's 4 weeks. That's my course next Monday beginning. Tomorrow I'll be here for osteoporosis. Saturday I'll be here for stress management. And I look forward to see you whenever I see you. All right. I'm off. Bye.